is the new Cadillac Escalade, and it's a little bit like Messier 87. In fact, this car is so huge, I'm sure it has its own gravitational pull. Let's start off this video by talking about the design of the Cadillac Escalade. So at the front, it is big, very long. In fact, I'm going to measure it out now. So it's almost 6 meters long, though this is the long wheelbase version. Now, price starts from over $70,000, rising to over $100,000. Let's talk about the engine. So there's two to choose from. One is a 3-litre straight-six diesel, which you don't want because you want this one. It's the 6.2-litre V8. 420 horsepower and 623 newton-meters of torque. Seeing as we've got a 6.2-litre naturally aspirated V8 under the bonnet, and the fact that the Americans don't seem so bothered about noise regs nor petrol particulate filters, even though this thing is about as long as an Olympic swimming pool, it doesn't have rear-wheel steering like you get on many other premium SUVs. And that might make it a bit problematic to manoeuvre. In fact, I tried to look up the turning circle of this particular vehicle, but Cadillac don't list it. Most car manufacturers locate the shark fin aerial somewhere towards the back of the car, in the middle. Neat. But Cadillac has just plonked this one here. Maybe it's because if they had to put it all the way back there, they'd need like miles and miles of cabling to reach it. Meanwhile, at the back, it's also very chromy, isn't it? That's because it's the luxury model. You can get a sport model which isn't quite so in your face. And if you want to find out how much this one here that I have is through Clive Sutton, the importer, the Escalade is not only good for carrying people, it's also good for carrying all their stuff. Now I'm going to show you the boot, and to open it, you press the Cadillac badge, which looks like it was designed by the modern artist Mondrian. It is cavernous. Look at that, there's so much space. There's a bit of extra storage under here as well. But if you need to carry huge things like wardrobes or maybe coffins, this particular car, so in certain SUVs, you can actually raise and lower the air suspension by pressing a button in the boot. So you can lower it so it's easier to get out of, but not here. So here in the front, the Cadillac is loads of room. There's quite a distance between you and the front passenger. You've got this huge centre console which separates you. This massive screen bank here, and it's sort of curved as well. Remember when like TVs were curved? It was like a phase. Well, so the infotainment system itself is pretty decent. It's very easy to control and navigate through. You can use it as a touchscreen, or you can control it with this swivel wheel, and of course you've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So you can scroll through different menus and settings and stuff like that. But one thing that I find a bit weird is the rev count. It's like this like straight line bar. I don't like that. Don't like that at all. I do like the fact that you have physical buttons for the climate control. That is nice, and the quality in here is pretty decent as well. It's not up to the standards of a BMW X7 though. But there is lots of storage. There's storage down here. There's a space here. Also under here, there's some storage with some USB ports, and down here, a big size glove box. As with other cars, you can get an optional fridge underneath the armrest to cool your drinks. However, this one goes as low as -5 degrees centigrade because it has a freezer mode. Seats are comfy and very large. Here in the middle row of the Escalade, there is plenty of room. Now you can get it with 3 seats here, or in this case, 2 individual chairs, because this one is a 7-seater version. Lots of knee room, headroom's really good. Look, you've got the armrest like that, and obviously I can recline my seat and I can slide it like that. All very good. Like this as well, big windows, and they go all the way down Also, the quality here in the middle row is the same as in the front, which is a good thing. They haven't cheaped out back here. Speaking of which, look, we've got this big screen here. There's another one for the other middle passenger, and you can connect your phone to it to run Android Auto off it. Also, look, we've got HDMI inputs for it, so you could run your PlayStation 5 off it if you can get your hands on one. And there's some cup holders here as well. We've got the climate control system. Decent headroom, it's comfy, I'm not sitting too close to the floor. There's 3 seats across here as well. I'm liking that. It's a bit dark, isn't it? You can get the Escalade with a banging 8kg stereo with 36 speakers. Look, there's even speakers in the headrest. You also have a microphone in the front, so the people in the front can have a sound link to those. This car is literally brand new. Look, it even has the protective cover for the infotainment display. Anyway, even though it's brand new, there's some scratches in this veneer already. I think this will scratch really easy. It's hard to see on camera, but I can see it with my eyes and it would drive me crazy. And in case you're wondering, Clive, that wasn't me. The car's heads-up display features augmented reality technology, so it'll actually superimpose directions on the road ahead of you. So I'm going to show you a cutaway of what that looks like now. If you're struggling to see things out of the rear view mirror, don't worry, you can just flick a switch on it and then you get a live camera feed from the back. Okay, let's go for a drive in the Escalade. Now I'm going to test it in the type of environment that this car would never be driven in at all, where it's built and made in the US of A, because this is known as an alpine route, which I don't think they have in America, not really. We have some canyon roads, but generally this car will be used on the highway, basically in straight lines. So this will be a bit of a weird test for it. How's it going to cope on this twisty section of test track? Is it going to be an absolute disaster? I think it may well be, but let's find out. Now, the old Escalade used to have old-fashioned rigid axle rear suspension. This one is fully independent all the way round. It also has air suspension and you've got adaptive dampers, and the car uses a camera looking forward to read the road, and it can automatically adjust the stiffness of those dampers. But I'm more than satisfied with the way this car is going around this track. What's not so good though is the gearbox. So sometimes when you put your foot down, and because this thing is so long, you could be left floundering at a junction. There are a few more things I want to do in this Cadillac Escalade. So the first is a brake test from 60 miles an hour. When I get to 60, I'm going to do a full emergency stop, use my specialist timing gear up here to see how far it takes to come to a complete standstill. So here we go. Let's get to 60. Here we go. Full emergency stop now. Let's see how far that took. 35 metres, which actually isn't too bad.